Alright guys, brand new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. One of them though is an Arcane Force card, which usually means either it's going to be super good or super trash depending on if you get heads or tails, which is always a risky thing. Sometimes you can pull off OTKs and FTKs with them. Some new equip stuff for some Xyz monster support, so let's go ahead and check it out. So starting off, these are coming out in AC03, which is actually coming out I believe within the next few months in the OCG, but who knows when we're getting these. Anyway, starting right off, Armored Xyz is a normal spell card that says target one face-up monster you control and one Xyz monster in your graveyard. Equip the target in the graveyard to the targeted monster on the field as an equipped spell. Oh, so it places it back on the field, which is pretty good ones because some cards when they hit the graveyard they get some bonus, and that should count even if it's treated as a spell card at the time. Anyways, the first part of the effect says the equipped monster gain monster's attack becomes this card's. The other part says the equipped monster's attribute is treated as this card's. The other effect is if the equipped monster is attacked at the end of the damage step, you can send this card to the graveyard. The monster it was equipped to can make a second attack in a row. Okay, so being able to attack twice and having, I guess we get all of these effects. We get triple effects, so some stats, maybe. It could be actually worse because depending on what you're equipping to it. Could be interesting. I'm most interested in knowing, do you guys know if any combos of an Xyz monster where it's like, if this card is sent to the graveyard, it gets some sort of bonus? I was thinking more so along the lines of that effect being super good, because then you could just use that card as material for something else, and then you get the bonus effects of the Xyz when it hits the grave. Could be awesome. And these are reprints now. We're going full armored Crystal Zero Lancer. We're getting full armored Black Ray Lancer also as a reprint. Oh, you know, I was thinking since it's basically, you know, maybe CXC support, maybe that if you have the monster equipped to it via the effect, now I think it has to be as Exceed summon material usually, but maybe somehow it could get some sort of bonus if the card exists. I don't know. If it would say like if this card exists on the field, then you get some sort of bonus. Like, there are certain like cards that count maybe in that criteria. Anyways, next up we have a Phoenix Gear Blade. Okay, so let's check out this equip spell. So it says equip to a fire, or it says equip to a warrior or a fire monster. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per. So the first part of the effect, it gains 3 in attack. It's whatever. Second part is if the equipped monster is attacked at the end of the damage step, you can send this card to the graveyard. Each of your warrior and fire monsters can make a second attack during this battle phase. So more attacks again. The third effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard or banished to activate a monster's effect, you can add this card to your hand. So it's kind of a variant of the Divine Sword Phoenix Gear feed that people used to use. I think it's banned in the OCG. I think it might still be legal in the TCG, but it's kind of like the soul combo just to get some extra stats. But considering it can be sent to the graveyard, or even banished, you get to add, I mean, this card is still pretty decent. I think it's not able to add itself instantly because it has to be a once per turn effect, but I still think it's relatively good. Yeah, I think it's a solid card for sure. People will definitely see. All right, this is the card that I'm honestly kind of worried about because Arcane Force are either FTK, OTK, or they're just garbage. Let's see what it's going to be doing. So we finally got a new one. I think it's been years since we got a new Arcane Force. So this is called Arcane Force the Devil or the Fiend. Obviously in the TCG we probably won't use the word devil, but anyways, it's a light fairy effect, level 7, 25, 25. So you can discard this card, add 1 light barrier from your deck. I gotta double check what light barrier is because I want to make sure that we have the full effect of this because I don't remember what the heck that is. Okay, so this card, during your standby phase, you toss a coin. If the result's tails, the following effects are negated until your next standby phase. But when you summon Arcane Force monster, you choose which effect to apply without tossing coin, so it guarantees the result. If Arcane Force monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you gain life points equal to that. Okay, so the fact that you can just guarantee the results, okay, that's pretty good. So you could just add one. That's going to add insane consistency for, I think it was at the world where you could just negate your opponent's entire turn, which is broken. The second part is if this card is summoned, you gotta toss a coin and gain the appropriate effect. But remember, if you have the other card, it doesn't really matter. So if it's heads, when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target 1 monster in the field and destroy it. And if you do, inflict 500 damage to its controller. Mediocre effect. Tails, when an attack is declared involving this card, destroy all monsters on the field. Ooh. Now this card has, it would include itself though. It doesn't say except itself. So I guess that's kind of mediocre. If it protected itself and you could keep on getting the effect, that would be pretty interesting. Now, the fact that it can add light barrier actually is more consistency for, I believe it's the world. If you guys haven't seen is it, oh gosh, it's this one, right? Where when this card's summoned, you toss a coin, and if it's heads, during your end phase, you send 2 monsters you control to the graveyard, and your opponent doesn't get a turn. So usually what you do is you turn 1, you do this, and the end phase, you just get rid of 2 whatevers, and then you have another turn, you just OTK your opponent. It is one of the most unfair cards to play up against, but the fact that now you can search out that light barrier, this is kind of concerning to add any consistency where you literally don't even get a turn, especially because the other cards, you know, not banned at all. If there's any more consistency, because it would be really strange to get only 1 support card for Arcane Force. It's a pretty good card too. Being able to guarantee the effect, that's very risky. But if they get any other ways to search out the other card, and looking at the other card, can you special this? It's just whenever it's summoned, you get to toss the coin. So you could run, I think, since it's a fairy, you could run like a Valhalla. There might be some newer builds that people are going to be trying out to use this card's effect for sure, to get consistency and then just make it so your opponent doesn't get a turn at all. Okay, next up, we got some illusion support. That's the brand new, it's not necessarily an archetype, but it is a monster type. So this card is called the Eye of Illusion. So is it a Pegasus support card? Let's check it out. So it's a quick play spell card. It says you control an illusion or spellcaster monster. Activate one of these effects. Your illusion and spellcaster monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. So it's like a Waboku, but it is a quick play spell card. The second part is during your opponent's turn, you get to target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it until the end phase. Okay, so that's not too bad, just being able to snatch. So it's like an enemy control, but you don't even have to tribute your monster. That's basically a disruption and a negation, potentially, depending on how you use it. And then the last effect, you get to, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target one other face-up monster they control, change the attack target to it and perform damage calculation. Okay, this is pretty interesting. And it could be actually very good against certain decks that would have the same exact attack, or certain archetypes that may be making multiple of same monsters. Just off the top of my head, I think most of the Fire Fists, aren't they like 1600? So I know Fire Fists don't see any play, but I'm just any archetype that uses like the same exact stats, right? So if they attack with one monster, you switch the attack to another monster they control. So if 2 monsters have the same attack that your opponent controls, and when they attack, you basically get a 1 for 2. That's pretty good, and you prevent all of the battle damage you would have taken from those 2 monsters. So I think this is actually pretty good. And another thing that's really nice with this is any card that would have the effect where it's like when this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, or whatever the case may be, they're actually attacking their own monster. So in theory, it would be their own card destroying their own card by battle. Therefore, they may not get any bonuses. I think this card's pretty good, considering you have 3 different effects. And it's just, as long as you control a spellcaster, so a lot of different decks can actually run this. It's not just limited. I think this card is pretty solid. Let me know, guys, what you think of Eye of Illusion. I mean, it has 3 different effects. I think this one's probably the most mediocre one, but being able to either snatch steal, but remember, this is only during your opponent's turn, okay? You can't just snatch steal monster as a quick play. That would actually be pretty broken if it could be activated during your turn as well. But I still think, yeah, this is a pretty solid card. It's splashable in a lot of different things. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell so you don't miss out when we cover more new Yu-Gi-Oh cards in AC03. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.